Yeah, I've already lost them right there.
Well, good morning and welcome to Brekkie with the Guy Who Sews. My name is Sean. For anyone that is new, and if you are new, thank you so much for joining us. And I always like to have everybody back each and every week. And I am super excited for this special guest. We've been talking back and forth for quite some time. And it is Stacey Lee from Stacey Lee Creative. And I'm just super stoked to have her finally be able to join me here. So would you like to say good morning to everybody, or good evening for the folks in Australia?
Hi.
And tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, my name's Stacey. My name's Stacey, and then I go by Stacey Lee Creative. And that's just because my last name is too hard. My last name's Butendijk, and people can't pronounce that. So I decided to go with my first name and my middle name. And then I just threw on Creative at the end because Stacey Lee was already taken. And Creative is because, I can see Sean talking.
Yeah, it's delayed.
And Creative is just because when I started my YouTube channel, I thought that I would teach all sorts of things. In Australia, I used to be a cake decorator and a florist. I also crochet, use the Cricut, do all sorts of things. So that's why Creative is on the end, although it seems like people like to learn about sewing and quilting. So that's pretty much my focus now.
I love that. And I think the name is perfect, because you are creative, and it doesn't matter whether it's quilting or crochet or paper art or whatever it is. I mean, you can kind of do whatever you want with that name and not have to change it. If I ever decide that I want to be a knitter, I'm going to start a new channel and change my name. So, but yeah, I'm super stoked to have you here. It's really good to have someone that kind of sounds like me, and yeah, it's just really cool. So you said you lived in Australia, and I believe you have also lived in the beautiful country of New Zealand. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in New Zealand. When I was 21, I actually moved to London and lived there for 2 years. Then I moved back to New Zealand. And then my husband and 3 kids, we moved to Australia, and we lived in Sydney, Australia for 9 years. But we're currently in New Jersey, and we've been here going on 4 years. Time is flying.
Yes. Yeah, I'm in Virginia, so I'm not super far away from you. But 21 and some change. So yeah, I've almost half my life really.
Wow. So where can I ask where you're from in Australia, Sean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm from a small city called Tamworth, which is about 6 hours. Yeah, due north of Sydney, for anyone that is not familiar with Australian geography.
Yes, and they're famous for their country western festival every year.
Yes, it's the Australian version of Nashville, basically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we had that every January. It was always, hot as the surface of the sun. So yeah, very much used to that one.
That's cool. But you say you've lived here half your life? So you moved with your family?
No, I met my wife here quite some time ago, and we decided that we wanted to get married. So one of us needed to move, and with my background in customer service, it was easier for me to move. She's a teacher. US history was her major. Not much call for that in Australian schools, as you well know. So here I am.
Ah, cool. So how many years have you been here? Sorry, Sean, I'm interviewing you.
I'm 21 and almost 21 and a half.
Wow. Okay, so, that's cool. You've been here a while.
Yes. So yep, seen a lot of stuff here. It's like a second home. It really, because I grew up in Tamworth and then moved straight here. So let's go ahead and say good morning, good evening to everybody here real quick, and then we'll go ahead and just talk about, have some chat. We might get some sewing in. Who knows? Brenda Foley says she is up. It's always good. We are early, especially if you're not on the East Coast. Teresa says I've actually made it on time. She was 15 minutes early, so that was wonderful. Stacey Lee Creative. I don't know who that person is, but good morning to her. Beverly Aikens, good morning. Good morning, Chloe. She was here with me last week sewing the third clue of the puzzle mystery quilt. Janet Johnson says good evening. She's from Western Australia, not far from Perth.
Hi, Janet. Hi, Janet.
I love having my friends. It's late for them, so it's kind of hard, but it's always good when a couple of them pop in as well. Doreen, good morning. Good morning to Kathy. Louise is here. Good afternoon.
Hi, Louise.
Okay. Ange Sosa is here. She's from the UK. Good afternoon to you. She says, I've made a cup to enjoy while watching. Cheryl Kathy Klein. Christine, good morning. She is my pattern finder for me. She finds all the cool patterns for me. Cheryl Curlier says, good morning, checking in, but need to leave soon off to a workshop. Well, I hope you enjoyed what you get to see, and then, yeah, definitely come back and check out the replay. Melody Kiefer, good morning, Sean and everyone. Pam from the Empty Nest Quilter says, hello, Sean, Stacey, and everyone here. Let's see, Elizabeth Helvey, Sweet Granny Quilting, good morning from Pennsylvania. She's your neighbor. Nellie Franco, Judy Herbert, Cynthia Maria Field, Amy C, good morning. Good morning, Naomi, Bettina, Pat Strawhouse from Canada. I hope it's forward out a bit up there for you. Nancy is here, and Janine. So we've got the whole crew here, which is awesome.
That's so cool. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Sean's channel. I'm taking over for today. Just joking.
I really do enjoy viewers that, you know, are talkative and chatty, because it makes my job easier. I mean, I can just sit there and monitor the chat and let you guys go. So makes it so much easier. I love having guests on because, you know, there's a lot of people out there that do lives by themselves, and my hats are off to you because I can do it, but it's not my preference. I like having someone to physically talk to, rather than just talking to the camera. It's a skill that you really need to hone in on, and I know you do it well, and there's so many others as well. Kathy Hutchins has just popped in and says, good morning, folks from Texas. Janet says, Stacey, tell everybody about the donation quilts for the kids. That is going to be a topic for discussion. She's got a short presentation she's going to show us in a little bit. So yeah, that is one of the focuses of our live today. So we won't miss out on that, Janet, don't worry. So did you bring something to sew with us today?
I did. I've got my strip quilt that I make, which is one of my donation quilts, and I've had this for a while, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a baby's quilt top when we're finished. Wish me luck.
That looks good. Hey, at least it's all together. So I am going to work on my Express Yourself quilt, and it's this here. It's got 20 different blocks. I've done 16 and I need to make 4 more, and so that's going to be I'm not going to get all 4 done today. There's no hope on that. I already had to pull up my friend this morning before we started, so hopefully that is one and done. This is my mate Jack, if you haven't seen him before.
Hi, look, I'm good friends with Jack. I'm always saying, if you're not happy with something, unpick it and just try again. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, I don't mind unpicking it at all. And that's beautiful, Sean. That's really striking.
Yeah, it's a beautiful pattern. It's called Express Yourself. It's a free pattern by Riley Blake, and it's fairly easy. And I just basically use scraps. I mean, well, for the colors at least. I mean, I had yardage for the black, but yeah, the colors itself, I'd scrap fabric. So it's really neat, and I have a whole array of different colors. There's purples, there's blues, there's greens. You can go back and check my previous
yeah, that's pretty.
And see that. Nancy's asking, who do I have on with me today? This is Stacey Lee from Stacey Lee Creative. She does a lot of wonderful videos. So you need to go over and check her channel out. I'll put the link in the description as well. Nancy, I think you really will enjoy her as well. Wendy hopped in and said, hi, Stacey. Hello, Sean. So yeah, we've got a lot of fans here today, which is really good.
That's so cool. Those are beautiful, Sean. And I love the idea that you can just use your scrap fabric. So like you said, you've bought your black, and then you're just working what you've got and working it in. And that's one of the best projects, in my opinion, is getting to use up some of those scraps. And the black just pulls it all together, right?
Yes, I love using black, or I've actually gravitated now towards Kona pepper, the color pepper. It's a very, very dark gray. I just find it's a beautiful color. I mean, it's actually like an off black. It's not really black. That way it's not quite as stark as a black. But it still gives you that really, really nice dark background, which I think is really, really neat. So
yeah, dramatic contrast. Hi,
yeah,
Wendy.
I kind of picked it up by accident one day because I went into my quilt shop looking for black, and it was not long after COVID had started, and like black fabric you couldn't find to save your life, and they had that, and I'm like, well, I'll just grab that and it'll be close enough, and I've been really enjoying using it ever since. So
that's awesome. I have a favorite fabric, but mine's a off-white cream. It's Creme de la Creme by Art Gallery Fabrics, and it just goes with everything I do. So I buy it at about 6 yards at a time.
Yeah, I went and bought a bolt of this stuff the last
Wow.
time I went to the quilt shop. I was just like, like I can go buy 4 or 5 yards at a time. But I was just like, you know what? I picked it up off the shelf. She said, "How much do you want?" I said, "Just give me the whole thing."
Best favorite customer of the day, Sean.
That's what she said. She's like, "I wish everyone was that easy." So usually I go in and I get like a quarter yard of this, quarter yard of that, because I'm doing like the Wizard of Oz or that sort of thing there. So I had to make up for all the times that I've had to go in there and buy 25 to 30 different fabrics. So.
And I've got a question for you, Sean. How
Mhm.
long have you been quilting?
Almost 10 years. I started in December of 2013. I think a lot of people have heard the story before, but I'll tell it one
Sorry,
more.
fun.
It's fine. I mean, I know some people have heard it, but not everybody has. I went to the State Fair of Virginia in 2012, and I saw all the quilts at, inside the exhibition hall because they have a quilt show. And I thought this would be really neat. Maybe I could do this. And so apparently I talked about it enough for 3 or 4 months until Christmas that my wife bought me this sewing machine. And I've just been rocking along ever since.
That's so cool. That's cool. Maybe I can convince my husband to give it a go. So my husband, so I do. So if you haven't been to my channel before, I basically teach step-by-step tutorials in sewing and quilting that are sort of targeted at a beginner level, so a beginner could follow along. But of course, anyone who can sew a quilt likes them too. I just try not to skip any of those little steps that maybe a beginner doesn't know. So I'm the face of it, but my husband does all the recording. He records my videos and then he edits them, and he always jokes that actually he could quilt too now, but he's just not actually done it. So I reckon that's a challenge for him. We're gonna sit him down one day and I'm gonna record him watching one of my tutorials and quilting something. I think that would be fun.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. I would look forward to seeing that. And yeah, I mean, I would love to see more men quilting, and yeah, get him on board. And
Yes.
let's see his first quilt. I mean, I've seen a couple other creators where their husbands have actually started making quilts themselves. Beth Goody from Goody Goods has her husband started that.
That's fun.
Well, yeah, he made his. I don't know how many quilts he's made. I think he's only made 1 or 2, but he did a really good job with his. And who else am I thinking of? It'll come back to me. Anyway, yeah, there's a couple out there as well. So, yeah, Pat Strawhouse says, "Thanks for the tip, Stacey. Always looking for the perfect cream." Yeah, that is easier said than done. Dawn from My Quilt Projects is here. Good morning, and good morning, Sean and Quilters. I'm good to see you here. I know you normally record your videos at this time, so it's really good that you hopped in here as well. Nancy was asking where you're from with the accent, and that question has been answered. Brenda says her husband quilts. So yeah, we've got a few out there, which is really, really neat. So yeah, so hopefully your husband will do a quilt for us at some point.
He's sitting right in front of me, and he's smiling.
Well, that's step one. And I find sometimes it's hard to find fabrics that are suited for gentlemen.
Correct.
I've got
2 sons and a daughter, and it is much harder to find fabric I think they would like.
Yeah. What about a t-shirt quilt?
See, that's a funny thing, Sean. Like, so when we moved here, I think the youngest was 11, and then the rest, they go up in ages. In Australia, t-shirt quilts aren't really a big thing, as in they would only be made from your favorite t-shirts that you wore every day. Like, I know here in America, like if you do a school event, the first thing you get is a t-shirt. So they're kind of like, they're souvenir, I don't know what the word is, but since we've moved here, the kids have so many more t-shirts. But yeah, it was not, that's a new concept to me. Let me put it that way.
Right. I was just thinking that might be an easy project for him to do, because there's not a lot of piecing. You basically, you put your inner facing on the back and you put some sashing on in the middle and you sew it all together and away you go. So that might be, and usually by this time in life, you have a lot of t-shirts. So it might be a good time for, him to give that a go.
They are a lot of fun. And they're, like I said, they're new to me and I do like them. And I like your t-shirt, Sean.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I got it as a Christmas gift. I got like 5 different quilting shirts for Christmas, which was pretty much what I wanted. And I forget whether it was my wife or it might have been my exchange student that gave this one to me, but I love, this is one of my favorites.
That's so nice. Sorry, and if you can see me looking down, it's just because I'm looking down at the chat of my computer and what's going on, what you guys can see that are watching. So sorry if my eyes are like darting up and down.
I do that all the time. I'm always looking up at the screen that's in front of me as well. So everyone's used to it as well. So not an issue. Nellie Francos is saying, welcome to the channel, Stacey. I'm from New York. We're neighbors. And
We
Cheryl,
are.
person from your country. Yes, I'm excited. I think Stacey is the first one that I've had that's spent any extended amount of time in Australia. I know Stephen Bland's been to Australia a few times, but he's never lived there. No, I tell a lie. I had, no, not in my chat. I have gone live with Yvette Renee, who lived in Australia, but I don't think she actually came over to my channel. So yeah, you're really the first one that I've had that's, spent significant time in the Australasia area. We'll put it that way.
Cool. So we consider Australia home. So when we talk about should we stay in America or should we be going home, we mean Australia. So we still have our house in Australia, and if we ever went home, it would be to Sydney. We do miss it. We do love Australia. Don't get me wrong. I love America too. There's so much here. There's so much to do here. It just blows us away. We do love America, and we do love exploring and trying to go on holidays to different locations.
Right.
Like last summer, we went to the Grand Canyon and Monument Valley.
Oh, wow.
And that was amazing. Like that just blew us away. I know people say it's amazing and you should go, but you don't really know exactly how amazing it is until you've been there. So I do love America. So I guess I have 3 homes: New Zealand, Australia, and America now.
Yes, I'm the same way. Well, except for New Zealand, because I've only been there for 10 days, but love the country. Would want to go back sometime. Yeah, when I talk about home, it can be Australia, it can be here. So I totally get what you're saying there.
Yeah, because you can love 2 places or even 3.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's like when you have 3 kids, it's not like you only love one of them. So
That's a great example. You can love more than one thing, right?
yeah. No, you can't love. No, you might get in trouble if you start saying you love 17 football teams or something like that.
I wouldn't dare do that in my house. So my husband watches football. So football in our house is soccer, and
Right.
he's a massive Arsenal fan. So you have to pack your bags and move out if you support anyone other than Arsenal in our house.
Sure. Yeah, I was going to ask what football was in your house, because to me it's rugby.
Correct. Yeah, it's different in every house.
Yeah.
Which is really funny, right?
Yep.
Now I'm going to really try and get some of this quilt top done.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm not very good at multitasking, but I'm going to do it. Let's do it.
I've gotten better at it. I'm not perfect, but yeah, I've gotten better. Okay, so Dawn says she has to duck off, so goodbye, and Cheryl had to duck off as well, but they'll come back and watch the replay later on. So
Thanks for joining us, ladies.
yeah, they're a lot of fun. Okay, Janet is asking, where in New Zealand are you from? Her husband is a Kiwi. He is from, and I can never pronounce this name properly, probably, but Rotorua.
Okay, so I'm from Auckland.
Okay.
I grew up in Auckland. We lived in Auckland. The last place we lived in was called Cockle Bay, which is, I have to do my never eat soggy
Wheat Bix.
Wheat Bix. East Auckland. Yeah, that's where my kids went to school. And then my mum lived in Pukekohe, which is South Auckland, very south. And then my husband's parents and family live more up in the Orewa region, so in that Auckland region.
Gotcha.
I have traveled a lot of New Zealand, which is probably a big regret. I mean, everyone's been to Rotorua. That Rotorua is amazing. And I would highly recommend anyone that visits New Zealand has that on the top of their list, because there's so much to do there and to get the real Maori culture experience. I guess I have been to the South Island once. I did Outward Bound, which is I know in America that's seen for children that are a bit out of hand. It's like a correctional camp or something here, but in New Zealand it's not. It's just an outdoor camp. I did that for 3 weeks in the South Island. I don't know what on earth I was thinking, but I'm glad I did it. Now, is my sewing machine too loud?
No.
Okay.
Zoom does a wonderful job of canceling the noise of the sewing machines.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I can't really hear anything at all. Janice says, good morning. For some reason, I was unsubscribed and couldn't chat. Soccer is called football in her household too. Yeah, she's from Jamaica. So yeah, I think anyone outside of the US and possibly, parts of Australia would call football, soccer is football. So I totally get that. Nellie Franco says she has 2 homes and I love them both, New York and Puerto Rico. We love both places.
Nice.
Never been to Puerto Rico, but I've heard wonderful things about the place. Yeah, Janice says she wants to visit Australia and New Zealand. If you ever get the chance to go. Yeah, New Zealand. I've only been to the South Island, but it is even more stunning than what you see in the photos. So, yeah, if you ever get a chance, go. Just keep in mind it is a very, very, very long flight.
Yes, it's the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So we're not just popping back every other month to say hi to friends and family, unfortunately.
No, not at all. Remember once we were on I think it was like a 4-hour flight to El Salvador from here, and one of the kids, because we went on a church mission trip, and one of the kids was complaining about an hour and a half in that this flight was too long. I was like, okay, listen here. How about you sit on this flight down to El Salvador, back to Washington, D.C., and then do it the whole thing again, and that's LA to Sydney.
Yeah.
They went quite quick. So, all right. So and Quilt April Hotel says, good morning. It is always good to see you. And then Ma just popped in. She says, hi, Sean, your friend. This is Stacey Lee. Late coming in, been watching footy. Okay, she's been watching the rugby. She's from the Brisbane area, if I remember correctly.
Ah, nice. My sister and her family live in the Brisbane area. They're in Redcliffe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got a mate that lives, a very good friend of mine who lives in Brisbane. I don't know what part, because the last time I came down home, he traveled down to see me, which I thought was really kind. It was like a 6 or 7 hour trip. And he's like, you know what, if you 16,000 kilometers, I can come to the last 500, which I thought was really, really nice of him.
Yes, that sounds fair.
Yeah.
That's nice. Fair but nice. Hi, April. I know April. I saw April on your channel. I met April watching her on your channel, being like, oh, that's going to be me soon.
No, I'm just more, I don't know if I can tell you how stoked I'm to have you here. So it's been challenging.
Really?
It's been super challenging finding anybody from Australia or New Zealand to be willing to hop on.
Okay. What time is it in Australia and New Zealand right now?
New Zealand, it's after midnight. East Coast at 10 p.m. And then Western Australia is 8 p.m.
Okay. So you have to find, I think, some Western Australians.
I mean, just anybody to come on at all. It's just, it's been a challenge. Like, even if I went on like in the Australian morning, which would be our afternoon or evening. So.
Oh, okay. They're just, okay.
They're not livers. They like to do their pre-records and not really collab with people. I don't know. It's unusual. But I'm very happy to have you. And then I've been talking to Nicole Reed from Divana Lead Designs, I think it is, and she'll be joining me in the near future as well. So I found a couple, but it hasn't been easy.
Well, I think it's a really fun idea. So I have done lives in the past on my own, and I don't really like them because I just start rambling about rubbish. And you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? You're rambling about rubbish right now. But it's nice just to have someone to chat to rather than just looking at a camera, just going, blah, 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 blah. This is really nice.
Yeah, it gives you something to do, So Alright. So I'm just reading the chat. I'm sorry. Yeah, Marge and that all saying that Red Cliff's a nice area. Janice says in Jamaica, our students do a study on New Zealand as a country in the Southern Hemisphere. That is really neat. Yeah, it's a great country to study because they have everything. I mean, they have the mountains, they have the volcanoes, the plains. I'm not sure if you all have a desert, but you know, Australia has
desert. We've got geysers.
yeah, I mean, the only thing missing is a desert, but Australia has more than enough to make up for New Zealand's shortage of them. So yeah, very much. Okay, Louise says, ha ha ha, you do not ramble on about rubbish, Stacey. And that's probably true. Like, no, like as a content creator, sometimes you think you're rambling on, you know, and actually not. I mean, I think we're all our own worst critics. So I think if you worry about rambling on too much, you're probably not. But if you're not worried about that, maybe you are. You know, it's kind of like a. Does that make sense?
If you're not worried, maybe you should be.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like I always try. I analyze every video I make, every live I go on, just to make sure that I'm actually entertaining for folks because they don't have to be here. They could be anywhere else, but they all decide to hang out with us every week, and I just can't imagine. You know, I can't explain how much I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really it's nice and it's fun.
Yeah, that's why we do it. We are certainly not here for the money. So
no.
all right, so we're continuing on. So what made you guys come to New Jersey?
So my husband's job. So he was actually able to move anywhere in America because he can work remote, but he does have to go into the office, but that could be sort of anywhere in America. And I don't know why we chose New Jersey looking back, but there were lots of reasons at the time. We're in Princeton, New Jersey, which we thought was a really nice little safe, small community. We liked being really close to New York for my husband to be able to get to an office quickly and easily, but also my husband's Dutch. So the plan was to go to Holland and take the kids to Holland, seeing as they're half Dutch. We've not actually made that trip yet, but that was the real bonus of being on this side of the coast, was being so close to Europe, because that is really a goal of ours, is to get our kids over to Europe and particularly Holland. So that was probably one of the biggest reasons why we ended up here. Now I'm like really wanting to move to Florida just because I miss beaches. Now I know we've got Jersey Shore here. Doesn't quite cut the mustard when you're used to Sydney beaches. And I love the Florida beaches. Like they just are so beautiful. I'm going to say something that might get me in trouble here, but I think they're more beautiful than Australian beaches.
Oh,
so
really?
I'm like, let's move to Florida. I just want to swim and be at the beach. Like, I'm a beach bum, but I've lost that desire here in New Jersey, because the New Jersey beaches aren't quite.
They're not what you used to.
No.
I totally get what you're saying there. I feel the same way about the Mid-Atlantic beaches here, both in North Carolina and Virginia. The coastline of Maine is stunning. I loved it up there. And the Pacific coast up near, like the Bay Area going down towards Carmel and Monterey in California, is absolutely stunning as well. But I haven't actually seen the beaches in Florida. The only places in Florida I've been is Orlando and Cape Canaveral to get on a cruise ship, basically. So
okay,
I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check out the beaches down there sometime.
I can vouch for them. They're beautiful.
Okay.
And the water's so crystal clear. So if you've been through the Caribbean, it's like that. They're just beautiful. I wasn't expecting it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked that either. Debbie says that's why I spent February in Florida. Stacey,
Is it?
Janet says, excuse me, Stacey, no way. Have you seen Western Australia beaches? So, yeah, you're in trouble already.
Look, so we lived in Sydney. We lived like 10 minutes from the Cronulla beach, and look, that is a beautiful, beautiful beach. It's different from Florida because we do have all the cliffs and the rocks. So, like when you go to the beach with children, you're not just swimming in the water. You go exploring the rocks and the water pools, and you look for crabs, and we have a lot of wildlife. All sorts of things you can find in the water. I mean, the kids are busy for hours, so it's a different kind of beach. So beg my pardon, the beaches are beautiful in Sydney as
Yeah, I think my favorite beaches would probably be either Port Macquarie or Coffs Harbour. I'm not sure if you've been to either one.
I'm trying to think.
About halfway between Sydney and Brisbane.
I think we've been to Coffs Harbour, but just to stop for the night.
Okay.
We used to go to Umina. I don't know if you know Umina. It's close.
I know. I've heard of it. I don't know that I've actually been there.
And Byron Bay. Byron Bay is
that's a stunning place. My good friend that lives in Brisbane now that I was talking about earlier lived in Byron Bay for many years. So I've been to Byron quite a few times.
Yeah, I love Byron. That was our last family holiday in Australia before we moved here. And our kids still talk about it. They loved Byron Bay.
Yeah.
It changed a lot. Like I went I guess I must have been about 24.
Okay.
It's changed a lot in 20 years. It used to be a real cute little small beach village, I would say, but now it's quite a built up little town with all they're not big shops in comparison to America, but there's chain shops there, which they never had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I heard stories in the past, I don't know how true it is, but like they wouldn't let like McDonald's or that sort of thing go into Byron. Like the councillors always not approve it. So maybe they changed their minds.
Yeah, no, I don't know if they've got any of the fast food outlets from memory, but they definitely have some of the retail shops.
Okay. Like Target, Kmart, that sort of thing there?
No, more like, I can't even think of an Australian shop.
Lowe's, Best and Less. Are we talking clothing or?
Yeah, like, I've just the name of shops in Australia has just left.
Yeah, me too. I don't remember very many.
Let me think of. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Like Forever 21 here in America.
Yeah.
Like that would be in Byron Bay now.
Oh, okay, gotcha now. Okay, I'm with you.
So yeah. I don't know, none of those real big shops, but before I'm talking, it was just a tiny little township with just little small boutique shops.
Yeah. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Now.
I think the last time I was there was for the millennium changeover from 1999 to 2000.
Oh, that would have been fun. That
it was crazy busy. Like I think I was on the beach down there with about 700,000 other people.
Wow. I was in Gisborne, New Zealand, which was the first place to see the sun in the world.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the first place in Australia to see it. So
yeah.
And then that was would have been my second last New Year's in Australia. David Jones, Maya, let's see. Everyone else is talking about. Okay, so Mona is asking where are you from? And you can go ahead and answer that again because I know some people have wandered in late. And then what is your favorite go-to quilt? That's an excellent question.
Oh, okay. So I'm from New Zealand, but I lived in Australia for 9 years and we consider Australia home. But we're currently living in New Jersey in the United States. I don't have a favorite go-to quilt. My favorite go-to quilt is a quick and easy one. So if you follow along with me, you'll know I just like teaching quilts that you can start and will finish. So I love the saying, a finished quilt is a perfect quilt. So
Oh, no.
I'm not the kind of person that's sitting around spending 6 months on a quilt. My husband's grandmother did that. She was amazing. She would spend about 3 months on a quilt and then start a new one. She would sew till like 4 a.m. That's not me. I just like quick and easy. Although I do a mystery block of the month series, and we did make this quilt here behind me, and that's a little bit more detailed for me. So it's different blocks. Each month we do a different block. So I can do that. I can do small blocks to make a bigger sort of sample quilt. But other than that, I like quick and easy, like just plain blocks. Got a rail fence here. I'm all about quick, easy, and let's get it done and finished.
Nice. Yeah, I think for me, I'm a bit of everything. Like sometimes I want to do quick and easy. Sometimes I'll do something more complicated. So I'm kind of a mixed bag. It just depends on the day. Kerry says, I have a friend moving to the middle of the outback and teaching K6 science in an Aboriginal community. Do you have any? Yeah, it's a beautiful place out there. You know what part, by any chance? Curious. Good morning, Heather from Debt Free Quilter. If you haven't checked out her channel, do so. It should be !Heather. Mona's here as well. She has her channel, and she's getting pretty close to 1,000 subscribers, which I think is really, really neat. She's been working hard on her channel.
That's a big milestone.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
1,000 are the hardest to get.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I remember when I got to my first 1,000, I mean, I was just jumping up and down and telling everybody that would listen and half of the people that wouldn't. So
yeah, right. Most people that A, aren't into quilting, and B, don't have a YouTube channel or watch YouTube are not interested.
yeah, so April Sortel has her own channel. Yeah, so definitely check out all my friends that have channels, because, you know, they all do wonderful stuff. And I think you'll, you know, there's stuff I like to watch, and I think you'll enjoy it as well. So, yeah, definitely do that if you get a chance, and check out Stacey's stuff, because yeah, like she said, she does a lot of wonderful tutorials with nice and easy quilts, and yeah, that's just wonderful. All right, so yeah, Mona says yes, it's getting exciting, getting close. I mean, the other week she was at 700, and I think she's almost at 900 as well. Marge says, what?
Amazing. Just keep going. That's my advice. Just keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I started, I figured, you know, if I got 50 or 60 people, I'd be doing well. And, you know, we do a lot more than that now. So, Mona's one in her family watches except the youngest daughter. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, nobody might. Actually, my 2-year-old nephew and my 6-month-old niece watch my podcast each week.
Aww.
I think it's neat. Yeah, my sister sends me videos sometimes of them watching. So yeah, that means a lot to me. You know, that they sit there and watch. That way they get to know their Uncle Sean. Okay.
Yes, that's so cute.
Yeah, because I haven't had a chance to meet them yet. So this way they kind of get to know their Uncle Sean a little bit, you know,
yeah.
even though I'm on the other side of the planet. So,
well, that kind of concept is what doesn't inspire me, because I think how amazing if in the future I can teach my grandchildren how to quilt even if I'm not around. So I find that quite inspiring, that I'm basically leaving a whole library of videos teaching them how to sew and quilt.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's a really, really neat idea. You know, like I hadn't thought of that. Heather says the first 1,000 is definitely the hardest. I'm 5 away from 400, so slowly getting there. Yeah, definitely just don't give up. If you enjoy putting out the videos, don't worry about the numbers. If you stress over the numbers, you will go crazy, you know, and then give up. So just keep at it, and, you know, it'll come. You know, some people get, you know, numbers quicker than others, and that's okay. But if, you know, just do it because you like it. And if you do, it'll...
Okay to think you're going to quit and give up. I think I'm going to quit and give up every other week. Every other week I have a massive tantrum. and want to quit. So
Oh, really? Okay. Patty Taylor is asking you, is Niels with you during this chat?
yes, he is. Niels, I
So
think you should come and say a quick hello. So Niels is a big part of my channel. Everyone knows him, and he was just lying on our bed because we're in my bedroom, and he's listening along and smiling. And
hi everyone. So yeah, we are. You may not be able to tell, but we're now literally recording in our bedroom. So this is set up like a studio, but there's a bed on the other side, and I was just sitting there watching the whole thing, also watching your chat and enjoying it. So this is I like this sort of relaxed format that Sean has. It's pretty cool.
I'm enjoying it.
I'm really glad that you come on. Yeah, I'm super stoked that everybody is willing to come on, you know, because like you said earlier, it's so much easier to come on and have someone else to talk to. I mean, I love interacting with everybody in the chat, but it's not the same as having someone that you can see sewing along with you. So that makes sense. Nellie said, I had Stacey on YouTube. I had run into her, but if you're not a member to her channel, check her out. She is good. I totally agree with that. I try, you know, I only bring on guests that I think will be a good fit for me and a good fit for my viewers. So, you know, I don't just go out and find random people off the street.
Well, I feel honored, Sean, that you don't just find random people and you chose me.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. Eva says, I'm just not looking forward to my upcoming forced hiatus when minions get out of school for the summer. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's just the best way to do it. Mona says, so do I, divided in half my bedroom. So she records in her bedroom as well on her channel. And see, I have no, you know, if you set it up right, no one ever knows. I mean, I wouldn't have picked that.
Yes, it looks like I'm in a beautiful studio right now.
Yeah.
You can see the mess in front of me and the bed and everything squished in.
So yeah, I mean, you can make it work in whatever, you know, whatever space you have available to you. So, I mean, I'm in my dining room.
Hi, Patty. Now, I just saw Wendy said she got her flannel fabric. So, Sean, would you mind if I just tell everyone about my donation quilt drive?
Absolutely. Yeah. As I said, I was talking to her earlier. I said, you know, wait until like now. So that way, you know, we have more people hop in because we've got almost 70 people right now, which is really, really cool. So yeah, whenever you're ready, go ahead. Stacey does have something she wants to share with us, and I'm really looking forward to her sharing this with us because I think it's going to be a really, really cool project.
Thank you, Sean. So I'm going to show you a PowerPoint presentation now. Don't all roll your eyes. I promise you, I'm going to try and keep it really short and quick, but I figured it was the best way for me to tell you everything really nicely and succinctly rather than me just going on and on and on. So just if you give me a minute, share screen, desktop.
All right, we're almost there.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Love the New Zealand flag. Okay, there we go.
All right. So I do a donation quilt drive every year. This is the third year I've done it. And what I try to do is inspire people to make a quilt or two to donate to Comfort Cases for National Foster Care Month in May. Now, Comfort Cases is a nationwide non-profit organisation that provides care packages to children in foster care throughout all 50 states of the USA. And it was created by Rob Shear. Now, Rob Shear, he was actually a foster child himself, and he went through he got, sent to lots of different families, and he was given a trash bag to put his stuff in. And every time he moved, he was given a trash bag. And he told me it just made him feel disposable. You can see a quote here from his website. I remember carrying a trash bag and feeling worthless, like nobody cared about me. So then fast forward, I'm not sure how many years, 15, 20 years, he decided to become a foster parent himself. And he was absolutely devastated when kids would come to him and they too had trash bags. He couldn't believe that still that hadn't changed and no one had done anything about it. He just feels it gives these children no dignity. It's bad enough going into foster care, but then to be treated like you're disposable is just unacceptable. So that's where the concept has come from. Rob Sher, the founder, is absolutely amazing, and this is now his full-time job and full-time charity. So what we do is we send quilts with a PDF. Now the PDF's over on my website, and basically all it is you pop your name on there, how many quilts or blankets you're donating, and you can just say hi if you'd like. And then we post them to Comfort Cases between the 5th to the 12th of May. And the reason why I give a little bit of a timeline there is because I try to get them all there at around the same time so they can easily count them. And that's also why we include the PDF, so they know they're from us. On there, we write how many they are, how many we've donated. So then it's very easy for them to count them. The first year, I think we had about 50. Last year we had around 100, but this year I'm really gunning for over 200. One shop in Michigan already has 88 quilts. Is it 88? 68. And another local shop here already has 50. So we're definitely going to meet our 200 milestone. So Comfort Cases also has a $20 shipping label you can purchase through another charity. And you can send up to £70, which is a lot, by USPS or UPS. And that's great if maybe you want to get some friends together and all send them together, or you want to send other items that they ask for, like toiletry items, basic personal hygiene items, pajamas. They do ask that everything's new, because some of these kids have never had anything new. Some of these kids have never had their own toothbrush. Or if you just want to send one quilt, which I'm very grateful for, it's probably cheaper just to go to the post office and send that one quilt. But there is that $20 option. Now, I do have a prize draw for anyone that enters. What you do is you post a photo of the quilts you're donating along with the PDF that you print out that you're sending with it, and you post that over on my Facebook page. And one entry per, so there's one entry per quilt. So if you donate one quilt, you get one entry into the draw. If you donate 10 quilts, you get 10 entries into the draw. And this year I've been overwhelmed with my sponsors. You can see we've got some big names there, Aliso, Motor Fabrics, and then we've got some small little online shops like the Little Quilting Closet, which is amazing. Summit Street shop, this is the shop I was telling you about, has got a whole heap of quilts, the Quilted Nest, Juki Junkies, who I'm affiliated with, and I absolutely love them, a whole heap of sponsors. And just to give you a sample of what prizes you could win, I've got an Aliso Pro Plus iron. It also comes with a case for it and an ironing board cover. I've got a whole lot of fun bundles like the one you can see in the middle there with the stash and store, a little charm pack, and then a layer cake. And then I've also got some really amazing prizes kindly donated by the Quilted Nest, like the Free Motion Mastery in a Month complete set, and that's valued at $200. So if you're thinking, I'm not sure what quilt I would donate or if I have time to make one, I offer free tutorials over on my website, and the idea is that they're quick and easy tutorials. So on the left there, you can see my easy baby blanket. You could whip that up in an hour. And the one on the right was what I did yesterday, and that's a simple, easy, big kids quilt. Now, we don't have any binding on that. We actually use fleece, and then we sew it together, turn it right sides out, and there's no binding, and that's what helps make that a much quicker process. So it's still a beautiful handmade quilt, just finished off a little bit quicker. So I've got 6 really easy quilting tutorials or blankets for you, because I've done this for 3 years now, and every year I add 2 to the list. So there's currently 6 really easy tutorials for you. And you can find everything you need to know on my homepage over on my website, stacey-lee.com. So thank you for listening to me. I hope
no problem.
didn't bore you to tears. I wanted to do that quickly and fast and succinctly.
I think you did a great job with that. And I think it's an absolutely awesome cause that we can, if you're able to, definitely contribute to. And I think I told you this earlier, but my intention, if everything goes well, is actually to send this quilt to this cause. I made it, as part of a sew along with Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches, with no real end goal in mind. I figured I'd do something with it. Usually I make stuff and then figure out what to do with it later on. And I just figured this will be a really good cause. I think, a child in foster care would really, really enjoy having a quilt, that looks like this.
I love that. Thank you so much, Sean.
Oh, no worries. I mean, I'm going to get a quilt, everything else. I may end up actually stealing your no binding method if all goes.
Right? Because it takes a long time to traditionally baste and quilt and bind a quilt. So that's where that idea came in. And for smaller quilts, I do a self-binding technique where we still baste it and quilt it traditionally, but we make the backing bigger and then we use that as the binding. And that also saves a lot of time. So do pop over and check my videos because I do have some nice little cheap methods to make these quilts a little bit quicker. Doesn't make them any less special. It just means that we can get them done and sent to them.
Oh, absolutely. And I watched your video yesterday, your premiere, and it was, you do such a wonderful job teaching. It's not easy to make a tutorial. Anyone that's tried can attest to that fact, but you did such a wonderful job and you made it look really, really easy. So if you're looking for inspiration on, if you're interested and you're looking for inspiration on what to do, Stacey Lee is a wonderful resource.
Thank you.
Definitely check that out. I mean, I haven't got anything really out there for quick and easy. So definitely check out her stuff and she'll be able to get you out. Someone was asking for the mailing address. That's on your website, correct?
Yeah, everything.
Yes, just check out her website, which is stacey-lee.com, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, I'm just trying to bring this back. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Question for those that are international, because we do have some, could they send a monetary donation perhaps via?
Oh yeah, so absolutely. So I should put that. So for the international people, I do try and send you to websites where you can send quilts directly to them. Like I know there's somewhere in New Zealand. I think I've got some in Australia, England. I can't find anywhere for Canada. So if anyone knows of where you'd send them to in Canada, that would be great. But you can actually go onto the Comfort Cases website. But I'm going to put a link of this on my website too. We can just go to Amazon and they just list there what they desperately need. And then you purchase it and it gets sent straight to Comfort Cases. That's actually how I found them originally. I came across them on YouTube, went and found their Amazon list and did buy a few things and had them sent straight to them. It's such an easy way to help. But like I said, there's lots of different organizations in your own country, and I am trying to find them and list them on my website if you would prefer to help people in your country.
Yeah.
One thing about Comfort Cases is a lot of people not only want to help people in their own country, but they only want to help people in their own community. So, for example, I might only want to help children in New Jersey, not only help them, but I would prefer my quilts be sent to a child in New Jersey or even my neighborhood like Princeton. You can actually request that if that's something that's important to you. On the PDF sheet, you can actually say, please send these quilts to what your preference is, the state or the area, and they actually do their absolute best to honor that for you. They're really an amazing organization. I love them to bits.
Yeah, and I love that you brought this up because, like you said, with the trash bag thing, my wife and I fostered for a little while. It didn't end up being what we were meant to do. We switched over to doing our international exchange students. But yeah, we had one child with us for a short time, and yeah, he came with a trash bag, and yeah, he was only with us for a few days, but we made sure that he did not leave with a trash bag. I went to the store and bought a nice duffel bag for him, so that way, you know, when he went to his next home, yeah, he wasn't leaving it, because I just like, yeah, it shouldn't be that way. You know, like I know this organizations have limited funds and everything else, but yeah, I think you can get a, you know, halfway decent bag for the kids, if nothing else. So
Yeah. I mean, and I think we all have the capacity to help a little bit, right? I think it's important to remember life isn't just all about us. Life is about helping people and caring for the community and humanity. It's really important. And I like that they want brand new items, because, you know, getting rid of stuff you don't want anymore, that's not really being charitable.
Right.
That's just getting rid of your junk. So I do like that they ask that it's all brand new, because, you know, these kids deserve nice new things too.
Mhm.
Some of these children have never had a brand new pair of pajamas or their own toothbrush. Rob was telling me a story where a child was so excited to have their own toothbrush because they just shared one with the whole family.
Wow.
So yeah, just little things we can all do to help. Imagine if everyone just helped a little bit.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'll do what I can. I mean, you know, like I said, if everyone does a little bit, it'll make it so much easier. Many hands make light work, right?
Correct.
Someone was asking, let's see, about size limitation. Oh, Naomi was asking, is there certain quilt limitation size, content, etc.?
Yes, so their guidelines are for a baby quilt around 30 by 40 inches. So so my quilts all meet their requirements. I mean, if it's a little bit out, like the baby blanket was 35 by 35, but that kind of fits those guidelines, right? And for a big kids quilt, it's 50 by 60 inches. But again, if it's, I say, this is all on my website, but if it's a little bit outside of those guidelines, that's fine. I mean, they just don't want like a king size quilt,
Right.
because they have to fit in the backpacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did forget to say that what these kids all get, it's called comfort cases, because these children get a case or a backpack, and that has everything in it. It has the blanket, brand new pair of pajamas, a soft toy, a book, an activity, and basic hygiene products. And I've probably forgotten something, but that's the gist of it. It's just like a comfort case. What's going to give them immediate comfort when they've been torn from their home and been sent to a stranger's house. Yeah, that's a bit heartbreaking, but let's try and make that transition a little bit easier for them, right?
I totally agree.
It's
gonna be a rush, but I'll try and get this quilt done for you in time.
Maybe you can have big sashing and big borders, Sean.
Well, I'm working on the last few blocks now, so it's just a matter of getting it basted, quilted, that sort of thing there. So yes, I said I may be stealing your no binding method.
Oh, it saves so much time, and they're just as lovely.
Oh yeah.
Like it's funny because I've done 3 now, and I do get people leaving comments saying, "Don't call this a quilt. It's not quilted." And I'm like, okay, you've missed the whole point. This is for charity. But secondly, it's still a quilt top. It's still beautiful. So, you know,
you were talking about that yesterday, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? A quilt, I think by definition, is where it's 3 layers of fabric, where you have, is it 3 layers? You didn't. Anyway, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's like, you could tell them it's lightly quilted around the edge if you want, but you know, if they want to criticize that much, then you know they can go ahead and make their own quilt and donate it. You know, like,
yeah. I mean, if they've got the time to traditionally make one, perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully, some of you guys will be able to help somehow, whether it's, buying something on Amazon for them or making a quilt, or if you got a flimsy floating around that you don't know what to do with and you just want to, finish it up and do that. Yeah, anything you can do would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, it would be. And
Yeah.
the prices are amazing. I
Yeah,
only about 3, but I think we're up to about 1,400 in value.
wow.
I have a lot of prizes. I was surprised. Even people like the Fat Quarter Shop sent me a package. Everyone's been extremely generous and on board with the whole idea.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to be doing whatever I can. And if for some reason I missed this year's target, I will definitely be on board next year, but I'll do everything I can to get it done this year. So I'll have people keeping me accountable, I'm sure. So
Yeah, and I mean, maybe some people don't want to do it this year, but they'd like to spend the rest of the year just chipping away at a couple, because
exactly.
I will be doing this again next year. This is something I do annually. We start in April with the idea, I start like trying to rally people up in April with the idea that we'll send them in May. So if you can't join me this year, maybe think about joining me next year.
Exactly. Yeah, if you miss the deadline, don't fret. Just take your time, and then maybe you could donate a couple next year. It's a great, use your scraps. Everyone's always looking for stuff to do with scraps. So you have some wonderful ideas for scraps. I know Brenda with Mount Scrapmore has so many wonderful things with that sort of thing there as well. So we'll make it work. So
what I'm making right now is made with scraps. Let me just finish this row because it sounds very loud to me. So Art Gallery Fabrics actually send me my fabrics that I use for the tutorials for the donation quilt drive, and they sent me a whole lot of their scraps. Okay. And what I did was I cut it into 2.5-inch strips. Then I joined it. It's like a jelly roll race, except with a jelly roll race, you don't get the right measurements. So we join them all together like a jelly roll race. Then we cut the first strip at 32 inches. And then I'll show you the right side, that better. And then we just slowly join them together. And that's just a really nice, quick and easy way to use up those 2.5-inch strips you've got left over. And if you've got a little bit of fabric left, well, then you cut them into 2.5-inch strips. But I think that's super cute. And those are just Art Gallery fabric scraps that they sent me. And I think I have my original one here. So this is my original one that I made. So there's a full tutorial on how to do this. But this was just a jelly roll that I bought at Joanne.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that a lot. The bright pinks always speak to me for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, that one I especially like. It's really, really neat.
Yeah, I'm a pink girl. I love pink and peach.
Yeah, my favorite color to quilt with is rainbow, as I think just about everybody knows. Let's see. Oh, no, there's an idea. Okay, Pat Strawhouse has said to me, if I alternate my piece blocks with black blocks, I could end up with 2 quilts to donate.
Yes.
There's an idea. I might have to sit there and play at that and see how it looks. But that is definitely an option. I like that a lot. That gives me, and that's what I love about the viewers. Like, you guys come up with such wonderful ideas. Like I have some occasional good ideas, but I love hearing from my audience and listening to their feedback, because they come up with some wonderful, wonderful ideas. So
I like it. 2 is better than 1, right, Sean? No pressure.
yeah, let's see. Let's see what we can get organized. I have to put it all together first to see how it looks with the black blocks in the middle, but that might be a very, very good option. Copycat Ginger from the Copycat Quilter has said good morning. Got up in time to catch the end at least. Yeah, we'll be going for a few more minutes, so you're fine there. She was on with me 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was. She showed us some of her favorite quilts. That was a
I saw that one. Yeah. You're
yeah,
amazing. Very creative.
yeah, she has some wonderful stuff. So yeah, definitely go check her out. Patty Taylor says, when I have downtime during the year, I make 3-yard quilts for comfort cases. So thank you so much for doing that, Patty. We appreciate that more than you know.
Patty is amazing. She's one of my regular members over on my channel. Thank you so much, Patty. She's amazing.
Kay at the Purple Wall has a great question here for you. She says, will they take a pillowcase with the quilt?
No. So comfort cases are very strict about what they will take because they've just got a backpack that they have to fit everything in. Their list is quite strict. However, they don't accept them, but if people do send them things they don't accept, what they do is they just collect them up and then they just pass them on to other charities. So nothing will go to waste, but it's just not something they can use in their cases.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's a good question. I mean, I didn't even think of that, so I'm glad you brought that up. If you did want to do a quilt and a pillowcase, I know Stephanie Stitches has she partners with a organization with a summer camp up in Ohio for disabled children, that sort of thing there, and they do ask for quilts and pillowcases, and that's something I've been working on as well. So, but yeah, pillowcases are always fun. Louise says, if you don't have time to make a quilt, Stacey has a great tutorial on a great flannel self-binding quilt on her YouTube channel. Takes no time at all, and it's very soft and cozy. That was the one you did yesterday, right?
No, that was the Friday before.
Friday before, okay. Yeah, so definitely go over and check out her stuff, and yeah, you'll get a bunch of inspiration as well. Pam at the Empty Nest Quilter says, a quilt is different to everybody. Whatever you do is perfect. Doesn't matter what others think. I love that line there. So Heidi says, some folks live where it's too warm to add batting, so the 2 layers get tied together. Still works as a quilt as far as I'm concerned. That's true. Yeah, I mean, if they're going to Florida, for instance, or Arizona, or the southern parts of the country, well, we're going in the summertime here in the Northern Hemisphere. A lighter quilt might be a better option. So, yes, if you entered these into a quilt show, you're not going to get very far, but these kids are going to love whatever you send them. Like, it doesn't have to be quilt police approved. So, do what you want. The kids will love it, and that's all. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters.
Absolutely. And I think how lovely for them to get something handmade.
Yes. We say good morning to Shannon from Slay Arts. She has her own channel. She just started her own channel recently. Definitely go check her out if you get a chance. I'm a big fan of her stuff so far. Let's see. Okay, Naomi says she just shared your website on Instagram. Thank you so much for doing that. I think we're going to have a good response for this. I really do. So
that's so exciting. It's such a wonderful cause, and like I said, I do it every year. So
yeah, if you miss the deadline, do not fret. Just you'll be 11 months early for next year.
Correct. And trust me, it goes so quick.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking at, speaking of quilt shows, like I enter something every year in the State Fair of Virginia, and deadline for that September, and I haven't started yet, and I'm already panicking because, it's almost May. So I really need to get my tail on the gear. Otherwise, there'll be nothing going in the show this year, and that'll make me sad. I was planning on doing multiple quilts, but I think I'll be just doing one now.
Okay, I've never done a quilt show, but that would be fun. I guess my quilts are too simple. Maybe I could cheat into one of my husband's grandmother's quilts. I'm just joking. She has beautiful, traditional, very complex quilts.
Nice. From what I understand, it's more about the quilting. Like, the actual design and the piecing itself is only like 25 or 50% of the final grade. So it's actually based on, yes, I mean, you can have a simple design, and if you got beautiful quilting that's consistent and meets all their standards, then I think in theory you could actually do quite well with a somewhat simple quilt. So don't let that put you, but put you down.
When you say the quilting, you mean the quilting?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's probably my weakest skill. But yeah, I'm just a straight line quilter. That's one of the prizes was for the free motion class. I was like, oh wow, that would be amazing. I'd be interested in doing that. I think I've come across it actually online and thought it looked really good. So I was quite surprised when one of the shops gave me the complete set to give away.
Yeah, I saw that as one of the prizes, and I would love to have that. But I mean, I think free motion quilting is one of those things where you can just, with practice, you'll get better at it. And I find rulers are really helpful too. To me, they're kind of like training wheels.
Yeah, I would love to try and experiment a bit more with that. I can't really draw, so I find it also means I can't really free motion quilt. But with that mastery kit that you can win, I think they teach you, it's more memory skills rather than being able to draw, which I liked the idea of that.
Nice. Okay, sorry, I'm reading chat. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with everything. You guys are so wonderful with the chat. I love reading it. And sometimes I get distracted. And okay, Monica from Mona said, did what? Says, when I crocheted, I take hats to the elementary school. I put them on table for the kids. That's awesome. Quilt is getting her embroidery machine in a couple of weeks. She's thinking of making lace applique pieces for quilters to buy. Thinking of making some small bags and putting embroidery designs on the front. I'm looking forward to seeing all that. So it's a lovely quilt, love pinks. I'm sure a little girl will love that. I totally agree. Amy C says Ryan's Case for Smiles and Linus Project, a US pillowcase program. So that's also something else you can do if you want to do pillowcases, because they're super, super simple. Patty says I need to get my tail into gear. So yeah, tail into gear. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that. So Janet is asking, do you have any other quilts near that you can show us?
There's that one right behind you.
These two.
Do you want to see my donation quilts?
Whatever you have nearby, I think Janet just wants a little quilt show, if you have one.
I only have what I've got here. So this is called my Hugs and Kisses quilt.
Oh, nice.
And that's just made from full fat quarters.
Okay.
Again, really simple, quick and easy to make. So the ladies that join me on my channel, they make these up all the time, even for gifts and what have you. So obviously the idea is to make them to donate, but then they're also just great little quick and easy patterns. This was one I did last year, and we called it the Flying Kites quilt.
Oh, nice.
And again, it's like the idea is just quick and easy. So it's just made up of huge half square triangles. Sure. So a couple of weeks ago, I showed everyone how to chain piece, which was something I wasn't very good at. I would get into a big pickle. So this is an I Spy quilt I just did.
Oh, nice.
And what else have we got lying around? Would you like me to pull this one down? So this is from our mystery block of the month last year. Each month we made one block, and then we made a quilt from it. I don't know how well you can see that.
Oh, it looks good. I can see it pretty well.
And then that's the bottom of it.
I love the fabrics you used.
Yeah, they're soft but bright.
Yes.
Mix.
Almost like sherbet colors.
Yes.
That's how I would say it is.
So these are all tutorials. So this is my Christmas quilt.
Oh, that's fun.
And that's another one that would be great to use scrap quilts with.
Is that traditionally pieced?
Pardon?
Is that traditionally pieced or FPP?
No, just pieced.
Okay.
I've never done foundation paper piecing, but I'm going to give it a go, and I'll do a tutorial on it because that's what I do.
Yes.
I'm just trying to look around my messy room. I can't see any other quilts.
Okay.
Neil's just ran and grabbed me one of my favorites.
Nice. It's always good to see your favorites.
So I have it's over 5 weeks, the videos, but obviously you can watch them all in one go now. But we made an American flag quilt.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's very similar. Can't remember her name right now. Oh, it's very similar to someone else's quilt who's quite famous with making a quilt like this. I changed it up a bit and I made the flags a bit longer because her pattern, they were more square and I didn't really like that. So I actually contacted her and asked her if she would mind if I did the tutorial, and she said no, that was fine. But I'm very patriotic. I always love the country I'm living in, so that's why we have an American flags quilt.
Pat Sloan?
Yes, correct. Yeah, so I did contact Pat and she gave me permission to slightly amend her pattern. Well, what happened was I'd spent hours working it out in Illustrator, which is a computer program for designing, and I was looking at the wrong screen, and how I thought it should be, and then I found her pattern, put it into Illustrator, and realized it was very, very similar. So then I was like, I'm just going to message her and say, hey, this is what I've done. Do you mind? And she was like, no, that's fine.
Yeah, Pat's a lot. I've emailed her back and forth a couple of times on different things, and yeah, she's just a very, very sweet lady.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, the quilting community, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
Also,
just had Erica Arndt follow me on Instagram. I was like, oh,
oh, wow. Yeah, and she's huge. I mean, I haven't really had any contact with her or anything else, but yeah, she has a wonderful channel, and I'm looking at this, and this is I don't know if anyone else works in transportation, but this is actually the symbol for limited goods, hazardous.
I can't, it's a bit laggy. I can't see. Holding something up.
Yeah, like this black and white. It looks like a placard you put on like hazardous materials on a truck or yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm the only one I'd ever pick up on that because that's what I do for a living. But
right.
I was like, that looks like the unlimited quantity label. So
that's funny.
is it limited quantities or something like that? I think when you buy stuff with like a lithium battery, you'll see this label on your box.
Oh, right. I get what you mean now.
Yeah. I'm sorry. To anyone not working in that industry, it means absolutely. Janine says, oh, I work in transportation industry technically, but I don't recognize. Yeah. I don't think you'd find that too much on a school bus, thankfully. So.
Oh, I'm not doing too well on my quilt top here, Sean. I'm too busy chatting.
And that happens, and that's fine. You know, I get like that sometimes. Like I always bring about 3 times more than I think I'm going to need, because why is my camera being so dark? Okay.
Right.
I don't know. Good morning. The quilting compound. It's good to see you. I didn't see you pop in earlier. Did I miss anybody else? Pat Strawhouse says, I was a hand quilter for 30 years. I now have a Baby Lux Sashiko machine, which looks like perfect hand quilting. Oh, that's nice.
I've seen those. They look really cool.
Yeah, I admire those that can hand quilt. I do need to learn how to do that soon. But yeah, I'm definitely a machine quilter. It's definitely my preference. But it would be nice to learn quilting so I can actually take it on the go sometime.
I don't mind English paper piecing. that was my first sort of introduction to quilting. I taught myself how to English paper piece when I was 18. I remember actually going into the quilt shop and picking my fabrics and the lady saying to me, "You're too young to be quilting." I was like, oh. But nevertheless, I taught myself how to English paper piece at 18, and I still enjoy it now. Just something small that's portable that you can just really slowly chip away at. Like, I mean, slowly as in like your lifetime.
You're not the only one. I had Chris from Soda Distance on a month or two ago, and she's been working on, I think that was EP, like English paper piecing as well. And I think that whatever project that was, whether it's EPP or not, I think she's been working on since like the 90s. I think she said it's been 25 years and it's still in process. So yeah, when you say a lifetime, I don't dispute that.
Yeah, and that in some ways it's quite fun, right? Because there's no pressure.
No, just take your time with it. And at the end of the day,
Right.
it's your fun time, it's your recreational time. So I mean, just have some fun with it. Don't give yourself. I don't like doing deadlines.
No.
I mean, I'm going to have a deadline with this to try and get it finished for you this year, but I try very hard not to have deadlines.
Mm-hmm. Although if you've got a YouTube channel and you're trying to get a video out every week, oh, I am on tight deadlines every week, and I'm a little bit. I work well under pressure.
Uh-huh.
So I do tend to leave things to the last minute, which is not ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy sometimes getting stuff up each week, but you know, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Yeah, we make it work. So pressing my stuff. Oh, so for anyone that didn't see earlier, I did need to pick 4 more colors for the Express Yourself quilt. And this is the gray that I used. 2 of those. And then I figured a white would look nice. And then this brown. And then I have like a, I don't know what color you call that. Caramel, camel, I don't know. I don't know why they call it camel. It's not, I've never seen a camel that light. And I've seen many camels. So I figure this will balance out the reds, the pinks, the orange, yellow, blue, green, purples, and that sort of thing. Now I figured this will polish this quilt off quite nicely.
Yeah, that's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe we'll have 2 quilts.
I like it. 2 entries in my drawer.
Yeah, I've got a better chance of winning that that nice the free motion one. Apparently my coffee's worn off.
I beg your pardon?
I think my coffee is worn off.
I did make a tea before we started, but I should have made one to drink while we were chatting, although I'm so busy chatting, I probably would have just let it go cold.
It's all right. Yeah, you're always welcome to bring coffee. Pam says it looks cream to me. It is creamish, yes. It's probably a darker cream too. I mean, I think everyone calls stuff different colors. So, all right. Brenda says, "Oh yes, fun flags." I love those American flags. I think they look really, really neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my son's friend's always teasing me. She's like, "Miss Stacey, you're more patriotic than me." I do love the American flag. I think it's just a beautiful flag. Oh,
it is.
I mean, the Australian and the New Zealand flags, they're so similar, and they're not as prominent as the American flag or the English flag.
Right. Yeah, they are very similar. I mean, I think you could probably show those 2 flags to a bunch of people and they might not be able to know which one's which. So
correct.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell the difference, but then again, I grew up there, so I think I'd probably get. Well, they can kick me out of the country, I guess, because I'm already out, so it makes no difference. All right. So Did I miss anything in the chat at all? I don't think so.
So your members that join you, is this their favorite thing that you do? Like, do they prefer to watch this over your other tutorials and podcast videos and stuff? Like, what do they like to see from you, Sean?
That's actually a question I'm planning on asking everybody in the next week or so, actually. So spoiler alert. But yeah, when I look at my analytics, I know you're fine, not an issue. I don't mind. I wouldn't have told you. But when I look at my analytics, the view counts for the lives are actually higher than they are for the podcast, which is my second highest. And the tutorials, they do okay, but they're not super popular. But over time, they can be. So, I mean, yeah, the lives definitely are my most popular videos. It's not what I expected when I started the journey. And when I started, I wasn't actually planning on doing lives. The only reason I started was that my viewers kept asking me for it. And it also helped me get to monetization, because you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And with my 10-minute podcasts, I didn't have nearly enough people watching them to ever get even close to it. So I started the lives, and I thought, okay, you know, we'll see how this works out. And it's actually been wonderful. I mean, I get a lot of views from it. I've really come to enjoy doing these. I look forward to these every Saturday because I get to hang out with all my viewers each week, and I get to meet new people like yourself. You know, like I don't think I've had the same person on twice this year yet.
That's so fun. So is that good news and bad news for me? I'm not going to be coming back this year, Sean.
You'll be back. You'll be back in a little while. There's some other projects that I'd love for you to work on with me. There's so many wonderful channels out there that I'd have to do about 7 lives a week to be able to have everybody come back every month, for instance.
Yeah.
And as much as I want to be able to do that, I do have a full-time job, which helps pay the bills. So if you can go out and find 1 million subscribers for me, then yeah, we'll have 7 lives a week and everybody can come back once a month. But yeah, there's only so many hours in the day, unfortunately. So
that is true. Well, I think this has been a lot of fun, and I'm a little bit envious because I think it would be fun to chat to different YouTubers and quilters and get to know. So
there's nothing stopping you
going on here.
Yeah, I say go for it. I mean, I do not have a trademark on it. I do not have a copyright on it. If others want to, invite guests on and do a similar format to this, I say go for it. Just not at 8 a.m. Saturday if you could avoid it. That's my time
slot.
I
was thinking more like 7:45
in the morning. As long as it's 10 minutes, you're fine. But yeah, I mean, honestly speaking, if anybody out there is thinking about doing lives and wants to do a guest, you're not gonna hurt my feelings at all. People have asked me about the podcasts. I'm like, I don't own copyrights on that. But thank you for asking, but you don't need to. I'd love to see more people doing podcasts and seeing what you guys are working on weekly. One of the reasons I started the channel, because in the knitting community, which is what my wife watches, everybody does podcasts, but in the quilting community, not so much. And I was like, well, let me start the ball rolling. And I'm very excited to be able to see a lot of my friends starting their own podcasts, and I watch them whenever I can, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, definitely do that. Janet says you can do this also, Stacey, maybe with some of your followers. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see you do a similar format to this. So yeah, go for it, and let us know.
How about I message Erica Arndt and ask her if she'll be my first guest? How about we do that? That would be a sign. Erica Arndt says yes, then I'm in.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes the bigger names, I've reached out some bigger names. Some reply and say yes, some say no, some don't respond. So don't let that get you down. You got to get a lot of no's or no responses. but yeah, reach for the stars. You know, you never know. You got to miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
So Laura says, I hope to be on your channel still, Sean. I'm waiting. Shoot me an email. We'll get you on. If you're I wasn't sure you were ready yet. So yeah, whenever you're ready, you let me know and we'll get you on the schedule. I would love to have you on. And then yeah, I'm definitely going to have Monica on at some point. I've got to start looking at my schedule for you know, June, July, and that sort of thing there. I mean, I think May's already booked solid pretty much.
Yeah. Cool. You're doing really well. It's a neat little concept, and I was honored that you messaged me. I thought Janet might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, she did. I didn't know about your, you know, Janet was the inspiration, to be honest, because I didn't know your channel existed until she mentioned it. So she said, yes, go check out Stacey Lee Creative. You know, she's really cool. She's a lady from New Zealand, lived in Australia, and I think she'd be a really good match for your channel. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I don't know if she'll, you know, go for it, but you know, I'll reach out and see what happens. So yeah, no, this is if you've enjoyed this thing this morning, you can all thank Janet Johnson, because she was the one that made, you know, she's really the one that made it happen. So
thank you, Janet. I've enjoyed it. So thank you very much for recommending me to Sean. And like Sean, there's so many quilting YouTubers, we can't know everyone.
No.
So getting a little light introduction, like, hey, this is a person I really like, is really useful for us.
Oh, absolutely. Because yeah, if you're watching both of us, then 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a good match. So yeah, I think that's great. Heidi M says, I think that was a Gretzky quote. You missed 100. Yes, that's where I stole it from. So yep, you got it right there. Pam says, you asked me for June. That's still fine with me. We'll have heaps more by then. Yeah, I'll get in contact with you and we'll get you set up for a date in June. I'd love to have you on as well, Pam, and you know, we have talked about that as well. So yeah, we'll have lots more wonderful content creators on the Brekkie with the Guy Who Sews, and then yeah, we'll look forward hopefully to seeing Stacey have a similar format in the future. I would absolutely love to see that. So
no promises.
No promises, but yeah, I mean, it takes time. It's, you know, it's not something you just wake up and do one morning. You know, you've got to send out a lot of messages and communicate with people and try and set up, you know, dates that work for them. And sometimes you've got to do it, you know, a couple of months in advance. I mean, I'm working with some people where I've got stuff set up for the end of May already, and that was set up 3 or 4 weeks ago because that's when they were available. So yeah, it takes time. So it's not something that you can, I mean, you might be able to start it up next week, but it's not guaranteed, of course.
But you're very organized, Sean. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had anyone cancel on you, like at 7:45 in the morning? What do you do then? Or has that ever happened? I'm preparing myself, you see, because I'm thinking, what if I did this and I'm all ready to go and someone cancels on me? Have you ever had that happen?
Not that close. I've had a couple of people where you know, like their families come into town like as a surprise a day or two before, and I get noticed a day or two before. And when that happens, I have backup people that will come on at a moment's notice.
Okay.
Or I just proceed by myself.
Okay, so Sean, if I start doing something like this and
right.
I have someone cancel last minute, will you be my backup person?
Depends on the date and the time. If I'm available, absolutely, not a question. I will happily jump on your channel. Yeah, it depends on the day of the week and the time. You know, just to, you know, because I do have a life outside of YouTube, unfortunately.
Do you?
So, I do.
Okay, that's cool. I'll remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good if you have a couple of, you know, people that you know, good quilting buddies of yours that would hop on, or as I said, just go with your plan originally and just do it by yourself. Like if you have your sewing project and you don't have anyone else, then just hop on. But yeah, thankfully I haven't had any apparently Mona did what says, oh, hang on, that's with April. That's fine. I'm working this afternoon. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. So yeah, But yeah, let me know when you plan on doing this sort of stuff there. And as I said, if you need someone last minute and I'm around, I'll happily join you. And
That
yeah,
sounds good.
volunteers tribute as one of your guests whenever you're ready. But yeah, reach out to Erica and just see what she says. You know, she might not be able to. I know she's a very busy lady, and may not be able to spare the time, but you never know. She may say yes.
You never know. You never know you're like in a big city.
Exactly. Heather says Sean has a life outside of YouTube. White and laughing. I love Heather. She has the best comments. You can always invite people to join you on a Zoom for a sew along as well. So that's always another option as well. So yeah, just give us some forward and see what works for you. But I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up because we've been on for almost 2 hours. And
Wow.
I know time just absolutely flies, especially when, you know, you get a good chat going on and everything else. So I think we'll go ahead and say goodbye. Do you have, she says Donna might join you. Yeah, definitely reach, that might be a good guest for you. Donna, Handmade, are you familiar with Donna of Handmade by Ying?
No, but I will go and check her out. All these people that you've mentioned, I'll go back through the chat and I will go check them out.
Yeah.
And I'll say hi on their channel and
Yeah, they would love that.
encourage them. It's a lonely thing doing a YouTube channel all on your own. So you're creating a bit of a community here, Sean, which I really like and appreciate. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, not a problem at all. Yeah, Mona says when she goes live, she just has people jump on. I think Donna's the same sort of thing. She usually has a couple of her close friends. I think Shady Susan's usually on with her. Teresa Louise is often on her channel as well. So that sort of thing there. So yeah, if you have any questions, you know, definitely reach out. You know, I'm always happy to help wherever I can. So with that, do you have any projects, any special videos, anything else coming up on your channel that you'd like to promote before we say goodbye?
Well, just my donation quilt drive. Please just go and check that out. And if it's not something you're in the position to do this year, then maybe just pop that in your calendar and think about doing it next year. I do have a weekly newsletter that comes out every Friday. In the newsletter, I tell you what my tutorial or project is for that week. So I do quilts and then smaller projects, kind of filling those gaps in during the month, because I can't just teach a quilt every single week. But in the newsletter, I will talk about what's coming up. So if you're not in the position to do the donation quilt drive this year, think about it for next year. And then if you've signed up for my email, then you'll be in the loop and you'll be in the know of what's coming up. Yeah, and think about coming over and checking out some of my tutorials. I'd love that.
Yeah, and I've mentioned before, she has such wonderful tutorials. It's not easy to do tutorials, and she just nails it on the head. She has a lot of wonderful projects. If you're looking for something easy, something quick, something fun to do, Stacey's definitely going to have something there for you as well. So definitely go over and check out her channel. The link is in the description. I checked it before I started because it wasn't working earlier, but it is now. So it is correct, thankfully, because I've had that problem more than once. So I'm getting smarter and making sure it works. So definitely check that out. Good morning, Katie Crafts. You have caught us right at the very end, but definitely check out the replay. We had a wonderful time chatting. I will have my podcast tomorrow morning as usual. And then I'm hoping to get some more videos out. And then next week, I'll talk about that in tomorrow morning's podcast, what we're getting up to there as well. So do you want to show off your project one more time before you run away?
So I didn't get much done, but don't forget I've got a tutorial on how to make this, and you're just using 2.5-inch scraps or a jelly roll to make a really easy baby quilt to donate. Just going to put that in there. I
was thinking too with that, I was like, I always have these, I always make too much binding. So maybe that's something I can do at some point with the excess binding, just slap it all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you so much, Sean. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you and getting to know all your people over here. This is such a nice little concept, and I really do hope I get to come again because I've had so much fun.
We'll have you back. This is not going to be a one and done for you. It's just, you may not have you back next week.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you all have a great day. Happy Saturday or Sunday, wherever it is that you are in the world. Happy sewing, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.